Center and Contract Services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we have no unfinished business. Mr. Lonnie, I think you're up, on the, constitutional law, I'm sorry, I'm young constitutional officer, I apologize. I think we have, who wants to go first? You want, Bill? You want to go first?
Sure. In front of all of you is the statement of actual and estimated revenues and expenditures. I just want to point out to you on page 1 of the revenues through the year, just in the general fund. If you scroll down about the middle of the page, we collected about 61% of our anticipated revenues in the general fund. And by that same token, if you flip to the first page where the tab says expenditures, you start the same general fund, you'll see that we've expended about 16% of those revenues. I'm just gonna start providing that monthly to you, so that way all of you have, if you have any questions, you can come to my office, contact Brian, one or the other, and we'll answer whatever question you may have. There are a couple of copies here for the public, if anybody wants one. If you want one and there's not one available, please come to my office, I'll be happy to email it to you or whatever I need to do. Unless there's questions for me, that's all for me, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Mr. Hardy, I understand you would like to speak. Mr. Hardy? I thought I saw him in here. Sheriff?
Yes,
I'll
sir.
go ahead and let you, you on.
You ready for constitutional officer?
Yes, sir.
You want to come up here now, or you want to?
Yeah, we can do that now.
I got a few things, if y'all got just a minute.
We do.
The first was, and I'll let, Merv, introduce himself and tell you something about what's going on with him and with the sheriff's office. And I can fill in the rest, and then I've got a couple other things I need to discuss with this board today. Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
All right, I have, man, you all, come on up. What we have here is, I'm quite sure you all know that for the past 9 years, we have been serving our community. It's our BOCC Meeting organization, grassroots organization we started to try to assist our community with the crime rate, just change the morale of our community, to making our youth respect them with the community more. And it's working, it have worked, we've been potluck forever. These are some of the parents that have came out and just say, hey man, listen, we are with you 110%. We don't charge you the money, have not have ever done that. So we have been blessed with the opportunity to present at the Restore the Hope training in Orlando through DJJ. It was in November of last year, and we rocked it. That's what Madison do when we go somewhere, give us an opportunity. We're going to show you how we get down. We rocked it, man. He loved us. The assistant secretary reached out to us and said, hey, listen, we want to support you all. We want to give you our funds to continue to do what you do. So we had to enter into a partnership with our sheriff department, which is my friend. I call him a friend. I've been supporting him since day one. We started out in my man cave in my backyard. That's where this guy came. He came and spoke to our board, and we only had probably 7, 8 boys. He came in the man cave 9 years ago and presented. So now we have a building, 147 Southwest 1st Avenue. And while I'm on that, we're having a ribbon cut ceremony on the 28th. I'm going to invite all of you handsome gentlemen, including you, Austin, to come out and take part with us. We'll be 501c3, government shutdown for a while. It delayed the process. So it should be any day now. But the partnership is through the sheriff department. They are, the money's going to filter through them. I'm quite sure Elk, my man Elk, he's a whiz. He's been keeping us grounded. So it's all looking good now. It was executed on the 11th, but they can talk more about that. But I want to share with you all that we're doing great things in the community. We love you all support in what we're doing. We got family, we got parents. Boys are kings. If the parents not involved, we cannot do nothing. So we highlight our parents, and that's one of the reasons we're able to stand today. And as you see, they took out their time to come up, and it's only a portion of them. It's all for our youth and our community. So James Madison Preparatory High School partnered with us on Saturday, and we painted the headquarters. It was amazing. You know, you got people of different races, gyms working together to do something. So that's my pitch. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. F. If you wanna share more about that?
Just real quick, before the sheriff elaborates some more, this is a contract, it's not a grant. It's a contract through the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice. For it to be successful, we have to participate. We're doing lots of participation through in-kind services of no cost to the project or the Boys to King program. So administratively, we're gonna be administering the program, which will cause for a budget amendment, because we have to keep those dollars separate. I'll be coming back before y'all, you know, as this thing, even though the contract's executed, it's not fully up and running, and our target start date is March 1st. So as all that begins to materialize, we'll come back before y'all with a budget amendment. It's a wash. You'll see the revenue portion coming through the sheriff's office, and then the expenditures going back out to the Boys to King program, 100% wash. There's no other additional charges involved in that program. And then I'm gonna turn it back over to the sheriff.
What I wanted to tell y'all was a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I got a call from the secretary of DJJ. He said he wants some of this. He said they come down and presented, they asked them to present at the DJJ conference, and we want their program. This is the head of the DJJ, his assistant was talking with us, and they said, we've got some money. I said, but he said the issue is, the way they have to present their money is to do it as a competitive grant, where we get out there in the market and they have to present their program in a competitive, but he said, we don't wanna do it that way. We wanna guarantee it, and we can guarantee you if you will partner, with Merv Matera. He said, I understand you know him. I said, oh yeah, I understand. And so we started this process, several meetings, and it has turned into, anytime you deal with a money from the state, or it's a quagmire. I know y'all dealt with it. Ep spent hours and hours meeting with these guys. They worked through this process. It's guaranteed money. They're gonna give us a minimum of 50, and the promise of more. This is gonna be an experimental program for them, but they love what they heard. And I could talk the rest of the day about the details, but I want to tell you something from me. And I take this personal. I saw a video the other day. It was a derogatory video against the sheriff, about me personally. And part of that derogatory video was that the problem with the sheriff's office is our deputies just come down to these different communities and we arrest people. Our deputies don't play basketball with these young men. And I said, yeah, that's true. And I said, and that's the problem. If that's what your expectation is, if you don't understand, the only way to change a young man's life is called time, and it's called mentoring. And that's what this program does, and this is what he gets it. Merv and this group gets that. I can spend one day playing basketball with a young man, and it may help him out for a day. But if I can't spend time with him, quality time to mentor, then I'm wasting my time. We've got over about 15 deputies now that by name have dedicated, are gonna be dedicating, have signed up for this program, along with these parents. It doesn't have to be a parent, is what people don't understand. I didn't have a parent in my home. I was a single family. Mom raised me, and men in the community spent time with me and mentored me, and that's why I am today. I'm no rocket scientist, but I don't go around breaking the damn law. And it turned out that I'm a sheriff now. That's not because of my own doing, it's because the men in the community took time to spend with me. This is what, in an eggshell, this is what this program does, so I'm supporting it personally. And I'm gonna continue to do that. This is a first, they're gonna give him a few months to prove himself, and I'm sure it's gonna do well. And then they've offered him more money, and we partnered with him. But this isn't my doing, this is their doings, and they get it. And I'm gonna back them up, and when we say back them up, we have already spent hours and hours on this thing. It's not just something simple. But we appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity, and so here we go.
Yeah, and a little more, this first round of this program, like the first round, we anticipate it will end June 30th. We're one off the state's calendar. All right, so they'll start again July 1. So probably soon in the near future, we'll start getting information on what may kick off starting in July. But we're set for what's gonna happen starting March 1st through June 30th with the BOCC Meeting program and the partnership with the Sheriff's Office.
You guys have any questions?
I'd like to comment, if you don't mind.
Comment?
Just so you know, Merv, you know, we go back a long ways too, you know, and, yesterday or Monday and yesterday, Brian and I were down in, Kissimmee to an economic development summit. And we was doing roundtables, and part of mine was doing how do we get around or how we resolve the soft skills issues in our communities for preparing our folks for the workforce. And just, we was going around the table, soft skills, you know, proper dress, proper demeanor, personality traits, communication skills, all those things. And, you know, we're talking about programs in the high school and even at the college, you know, in the community college levels, teaching folks about soft skills, preparing for a workforce. And I said, you know, we don't need to forget about soft skills occur when they're young. We start developing personality traits, communication skills, manners, and everything else at a young age. And I mentioned Boys to Kings around the table, and there was a commissioner from Calhoun County. He said, "Oh, I know Merv." I said, "You know, everybody knows Merv." He said, "Man, he's got a tremendous program over there." I said, "He really does. He's doing a great job, and he's made a lot of strides." Commented about your son, what he's been able to accomplish, you know, with his, you know, communication skills and speeches and stuff. So it was good, and that's what it takes to, you know, a community effort. If we're going to build a workforce, that's our goal, and to do that, and I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, before I be rude, could I share with my, can I have these different sales, please?
Sure.
This, for one, this is my queen, my wife, and I'm beside every good man should be a good woman. So I don't mind representing mine on, I don't care what stage I go on, this is my queen right here. And, would everybody introduce themselves, if you don't mind?
I'm Kimberly Adams, Boys of King.
I'm Tamara Johnson, Boys of King.
Wanda Miller, Boys of King.
Melvin Jackson, Boys of King.
Lisa Gallo, Boys of King.
Tanisha Thompson, Boys of King.
Alright, and man, we just one big fan, there's more of us, but, you know, just come through and check us out, we've got some good things going on, alright?
Thank you, Mark.
Alright, thank you.
Commissioner?
Merv, I want to compliment you and your group. You know, we build a house from the foundation. We don't start with the roof, and it starts in the home and the community. And I compliment you on what you're doing, whatever we do to help.
Appreciate that, sir.
Want to comment also, thank you for what you all are doing. I witnessed a lot of what's going on in Madison County, and we do have some opportunities out there with our young people. And what it's gonna take is somebody coming forward to do something about some of the things that we can enhance in our community. And thank you all for what you do.
I'm gonna throw a plug in this and I got y'all attention. Now, we have a house now, but it's too small. So I'm just putting it out there. Mr. Olive, Larry Olive,
Yeah.
awesome guy, man. He donated to us a pool table. Ain't no room for it. We got a table tennis table in there already. We got this and that. So the house is already getting too small. So just keep it on your mind, guys. Right?
Mr. Matera, let me have a laugh. Listen, we have been friends for years, and I thoroughly enjoyed our race 4 years ago, I guess 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we had a good time. We were not combatants, we were friends. I have one suggestion for your group.
Yes, sir.
Let Denise talk.
What's the period at, man?
You said open house is the 28th of this month?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Make sure,
This month,
What time?
5:30 p.m.
Okay.
5:30.
Hey, thank you all, all right?
Thank you all.
One other quick thing, while we're talking about grants separate from Boys of Kings, before the sheriff goes to those again. I met with Mr. Kelly. Jack C is finally coming through. We had to articulate things a little bit different because we left money on the table. If you remember, we're going back to 2017, still trying to get those dollars, okay? They've released them, but it's moving at a snail's pace. Finally starting to pick up a little bit, but they don't like it when you leave money on the table. Well, the particular JAGC that was written back then was 100% for salary and benefits. Well, once we realized funds were being froze, we started cutting back, minimizing what we would use, not knowing when we might get those funds back. So they gave me an opportunity to do an addendum to an already approved JAGC grant that we had made application and award for, to utilize those leftover dollars that were on the table. It's a little over $5,000, that we can move towards some unexpected maintenance costs that we have going on within the communications center. So I look to, the salary and benefits for 2017 is already being expended, so I should be able to do a financial claim pretty quick, get it in, get it back, get it closed out, because it's difficult because they took that 17 grant and made it a 19 grant, so I'm gonna be running two JAGC 19s with the 19 numbers simultaneously, which is very confusing. But, so I wanna get this one first closed out, so we should have these dollars, I'm hoping, within the next 30 to 60 days is my plan, on 2017's JAGC. But, just an update for you on that. That's what I got.
Just a couple more things, Mr. Chairman. One thing relates to traffic enforcement in Madison County. I wanted to bring to public, that we do have a traffic enforcement unit. The DHSMV, stats are a year behind. We just got 2017 stats for the state of Florida. That includes citations written in Madison County. In 2017, there were over 11,000 citations written in Madison County. The Madison County Sheriff's Office wrote 54% of those, over 6,000. The Florida Highway Patrol wrote 39% of those, and the other agencies wrote the rest. To me, that's very important. To clear up some untruths, our deputies write citations at 85 and above on Interstate 10. We don't look at you if you're under that. So if anybody tells you that we're a speed trap or anything like that, you can tell them that's hogwash. 85 and above. What's confusing somewhat is a lot of those tickets come in at 79, because the state allows our deputies the prerogative to write those down, write the number down. Although they were clocked at 86 or above, they can write it down, and it's a kind of a middle ground. It's not letting them go, but it's not giving them the worst that could happen. It saves them some money. The clerk then unfortunately has the responsibility of collecting that, and I think the ratio is probably around 50%, 60% at the end of the day of citation money that's collected. The county gets very little of that. We get about $30 that goes to the court, and then the court then graciously turns around and applies that particular money back toward our bailiffs. That's why we can have bailiffs over there. So that's not 100% tax money. And we get some training money, about $4 to $4.50 out of the citation for training, and then about $11 goes to our communications center, because we have a joint communications center. And those are dedicated monies. We can't spend that for anything else. That money has to be spent on the communications center, the training money, and of course the court. So I just wanted to clear that up, and for a benefit to you guys, I would like to know anytime if you have a complaint on traffic in your district. I need to know about it. I brought Odell Livingston with me this morning. He heads up our traffic unit, and he's very good at what he does. I had a complaint the other day, 53 North, where they've been working 53 North, and there's been some people crying out there, but I'm gonna tell you, on 53 North, if the speed limit's 55, they ride them at 70. There's no excuse for anybody doing 70 miles an hour in the 55 zone. I don't wanna hear the complaint. I mean, they can come and complain, but I'm not gonna be crying with them, I can just tell you, there's no excuse for it. We had a complaint down on Bentley. They're working down on Bentley right now. And I believe the county manager, if she hasn't already, there was a lady, and I'm not gonna call her name, I know her name. But she may have already come to see you about the possibility of getting speed bumps on that street. There's some drag racing stuff going on. These guys have been working it. And I would always support this commission building speed bumps when the proper procedures are taken. There's a petition process and all that, I understand that. If that's all done and that were to happen, I would always support that, because speed bumps are a deterrent. If you go out to Yellow Pine, I can tell you, traffic cutting through Yellow Pine out there is way less than what it used to be because of speed bumps at work, so. But if you have a specific complaint, on traffic, we have these guys that they're dedicated, and the way we're able to do that is we just pull from the shifts. And that's what they do, and they're very good at it. So I wanna applaud them, and if you have any complaints, please phone them to us, and we don't mind working that on these areas. A couple other things real quick. I believe that there's been some estimates done. We sent Dennis Pitts to a camera school, for the lack of a better word. And he takes care of our camera systems at the jail, and I understand he's got a proposal. If it hadn't been presented yet, we'll be presenting a proposal for this annex and the courthouse in conjunction to clean up what's, the problems we're having with our cameras, and I would just suggest to you also that y'all do that. It would help us, again, firm up a little more security for the annex. One last thing, we got a call last night from DOT, and this is between the county manager and the chairman and our county attorney, that, DOT has telling us that out there where my office is, there's 3 acres, and then there's 11 acres behind it. The old DOT traffic site, the 3 acres that my building is on is the old FHP site. Those were both donated to us. I know the county attorney has spent a lot of time dealing with that, trying to get these deeds, but they've announced to us that the deed for the 11 acres has not ever been deeded over to Madison County. So now they're having to go through, they're getting dinged for fire inspections and all this stuff, and I said, well, all I can do is relay it to the board and to the county attorney that apparently that deed has never been finalized. So it's the 11 acres that's behind where our gas pumps and things all are, if you don't mind.
I can address that if that'd be okay.
That'd be fine.
I got a call again, from DOT as well. What had happened was when we were doing that before, and I think it's been a year or two now, that, we got where the old highway patrol station, your office is, that has been deeded. That, property behind it was, not deeded. They were doing some environmental work on there, and so we were getting the, assurances that they would stay responsible for that environmental work. At that time, we also had to get the gas tanks that y'all are using switched over, which of course y'all have done years ago, I think, at this point. And then we also had an issue with that tower, because they were requiring that we honor that lease, which of course we're happy to do, but we needed a copy of the lease that they had leased out so that we know what we're honoring. And then at that point, it kind of just dropped with DOT, and they didn't get us that. So I got a call from one of their assistant general counsels yesterday and reiterated all that. So we're very happy to take the property. We're very happy to honor the lease. We're all of that, but we need to actually get a copy of it, and then we need to get the assurances on the environmental contamination. And then she said, yes, that was their understanding too, and they worked with us to get that done. So hopefully we'll get that put to bed pretty quickly.
Thank you, I appreciate that, because that is one very nice gift we got from the Department of Transportation.
Absolutely. And if push comes to shove, we may just have to take it not having that lease. I mean, I hate to do that though. We wanna know what we're agreeing to honor, but you know, it's that tower, and you know, they have the towers actually, I don't remember all the ins and outs, but I think the tower was actually owned by a private company, and then there's antennas on that tower and all of that, so that's what you have to honor when, you know.
Mr. Reeves, in that tower, FHP's tower, are
I
these?
think we're talking about, there's a second smaller tower back there.
Okay. I know the one you're talking about, okay.
And
I'm talking about
actually,
the big tower. Okay.
see, those state agencies, I believe that tower is technically, it was used by FHP, but the big one was Department of Management Services actually had the lease.
Oh, okay.
And that's just the way the state, operates their stuff.
Yeah, and ironically, we have no antennas on that tower, out over the high school.
Yeah. But we're talking about the other tower, the other little,
I
call
think,
it small
maybe
right now.
both.
Yeah.
I think maybe both.
All right,
Okay.
that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to ask something, and this may be for Ep. He's talking about the video stuff, I know the college is looking at and testing out a new, web-based, cloud-based, video system, and it's called Verkada, Verkada.
We're looking at a system through Ambiguity.
It's broadband based.
It is, it's cloud-based. They're referencing as, instead of it's cloud-based fiber. Instead of running true fiber, it's cloud-based fiber. He's certified in it now where, we could actually, once it's up, okay, the deal is trying to weigh out the initial overhead investment. Okay, it requires components that cost dollars that aren't in the budget. So we've gotta look at that, but it goes as good as I could actually have a monitor and watch my bailiffs and courtrooms from my office. You could do it from your cell phone, and it's quality, good digital video versus, you can't even identify somebody sitting in our bailiff's desk over here in this annex. That's how bad the video is.
That was the only thing I was gonna mention,
Yeah.
the technology out here today. I mean, right here on the phone, I can monitor parking lots at the college right now live.
Right.
And you can actually, I can select a zone, and just that little part of it, and it'll go back and capture everything that's moved across that zone for the last however many hours. For security purposes, on campus, I mean, it's pretty good. I don't think that the college has actually went full tilt with it yet, but they're testing it. But it's pretty good, and I don't know what.
Yeah, it's some outstanding new technology.
I can talk to you a little bit about it. I talked to Dennis a little bit, he was at the courthouse the other day, about what he's thinking. I mean, after the meeting, I can
Okay.
talk to you about what it is. And
I was just talking with our IT guy, and he showed it to me, and just something.
He just finished, completed an IT school for a week on these cameras, and he's very good. And one other thing he just finished for us, the radiator on our backup generator went out, $5,000 bill from Ring Power, and Dennis was able to fix it for a $1,300 part. I mean, that's what kind of stuff he's doing. He's good at what he does, so I'll see him, tell him you appreciate him.
We're very fortunate to have Dennis, and I want to publicly say that to everybody. It's unimaginable how much money we have probably saved over the last several years with Dennis.
I got one thing.
Go ahead.
Sure, I don't get to interact with your guys all the time, but I do get to interact with Odell quite a bit. And I know I've told you this personally, but I want to say it publicly. I've had more than one occasion where somebody called my office and told me that was the nicest officer that they'd ever had to deal with. And so I tell Odell that all the time, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that. And he's very good at what he does, and I appreciate him on my end, because it helps me for complaint calls whenever I get them.
Give you a ticket with a smile.
I want to just echo that comment. I had a person stop me and tell me that they got a ticket, but it was the nicest ticket they could ever got.
I know they're working six, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, one other thing, I did run into Dennis yesterday at one of the auto parts stores, and he updated me as to what he was doing, and I did thank him for it.
Oh, I appreciate
And,
it.
he mentioned that he had been off to school, IT school, I guess you would call it.
It was.
But we do appreciate what he's doing.
All right, thank y'all here.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
All right.
Mr. Hardy.
You know, jumping on Dennis real quick, I wanna thank the sheriff, because after hours, Dennis has helped us on our bills. One quote on cameras was like $4,000, and the next quote was $19,000. And because he cut us a break. So after hours, Dennis even helps with the county. Last Wednesday, I got the opportunity, I was one of 5 counties that was picked to go before a House committee. And it was interesting. There was 225 House representatives sitting up there. And they wanted to talk about the good and the bad about the election cycle. And so there was some stuff that we brought up in Madison County that's affecting the whole state. One is public records, voter information, what should be out there and what shouldn't be out there. And I bring that up to y'all because I know y'all are going to your legislation day. I think it would be neat, or we should, since we don't have a representative right now, we should share our stuff, what the clerk needs, the property, what the county's looking at, and share it amongst each other. So when we go before the people that we go ahead of, we can also talk about what your needs and my needs is. The 16, 17-year-old pre-registers, that information should not be accessible to anybody. And it is, and there's some more stuff, so if y'all see emails coming from me on our priorities, I'd love to see y'all's as well. Greenville election, like I said 2 weeks ago, is set for March the 12th. It's gonna be 4 people running in 2 seats in that race. On the House District 7, that we got the dates, it's April the 9th, and for the primary election, and June the 18th. As of this morning, qualifying ends tomorrow, but as of this morning, there's 4 candidates running, and as of right now, it's just Republicans running. If that's the case, then only people on April the 9th that'll be able to vote are Republicans. Because, I mean, if it stays the way it is, everybody will get to vote. If somebody else comes out, then it'll only be Republicans. There's some talk of somebody else coming out, but we won't know that till tomorrow.
Where did you say that general election date was?
General's, June 18th.
And if it stays only Republican, you won't have a general election.
Correct. It'll only be the April 9th, I'm sorry. Mr. Reeves, did a resolution, that's in front of you, and going back to, the vote centers or mega centers. In that committee meeting that we talked about, that was one thing I talked about. Bay County was sitting in the crowd, and I had his numbers. He did a meeting amongst all the parties. NAACP was there, and there was another organization. And they asked questions on a private, where you don't know, how they voted. And they got an 87% turnout the way they did the mega centers, which is huge in the election world, as much chaos as they were going through. I haven't had the first phone call that says we don't need to do the vote centers. Apparently in the paper that they said that on this election that you'll be able to go to any of the precincts or go to your precincts. I'll get with them after this meeting and correct that if we approve this. If we approve this, I'm gonna go through it real quick because we got some more people in the crowd. We'll have 4 early voting sites just like normal. They'll be opened up just the same early voting hours as they normally are. And then on election day, those same sites will be open, plus sermons. And I don't care where you live in the county, you can go to any one of those sites. So if you live down there on 14, which is 14.6 miles away, you can go to sermons instead of having to drive all the way to town. And so I think it's a win-win for every. They're looking at about a 17% turnout on this election. I hope not, but it's a way that voters can go, it's more accessible to them. Plus it'll save the county some money.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
This was not, it's not on the agenda. I think if y'all want to consider it, you would add it to the agenda. You'd have to amend your agenda. But if I can, the kind of the meat of it is on page 2. You've got paragraph number 2 says precincts. It says it deals with precincts, which of course are set with by the supervisor and the board acting together. And it says on the effective date of the resolution, the county shall have only 1 precinct, the boundaries of which shall be the same as the boundary lines of the county, as set out in section 7.40 Florida statutes. That section actually has the legal description of the county. And then the precinct shall not be changed except consent of the supervisor and the board. So this would set it at 1 big precinct for the whole county. Now the actual polling places, that's not a function of the county. That's a function of the supervisor. And so the polling places, that part just says that the supervisor will designate several polling places, but that any voter who is properly registered within the county to vote is allowed to cast his vote in any of the polling places. So that's the meat of it. So if y'all won't consider it, you need to amend your agenda and consider it.
What say the board? You want a motion to amend the agenda?
Yes. That'd be my motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we'll amend the agenda. If I may have a consideration, we'll have discussion, and if we have a motion first on the
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
since this wasn't on your agenda, you probably do need to open it up to the public.
Right.
See if the public have any comments, and then, accept the motion second.
Do we have a, first I'll take a motion to, motion, second, do I have a second? Second?
And Mr. Chair,
Yes.
since the public has not seen this,
Right.
we need to read it in its entirety.
I would recommend that, Mr. Clerk, would you be kind enough to read it? And, so the public can know what to comment about if they want to.
All right. This is resolution number 2019, it will be 02-13A. A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Madison County, Florida, altering or creating precincts for voting in Madison County, Florida, providing for a repeal of conflicting resolutions and providing for severability and providing for an effective date. Whereas Madison County is a non-charter county, as that term is used in Article 8, Section 1F, Florida Constitution, and whereas the county is given its home rule powers by the Florida Constitution, Section 125.01, Florida statutes and other provisions of the Florida law, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners of the county is the governing body of the county, and whereas the supervisor of elections of the county is the county officer charged with the responsibility of, among other things, conducting elections within the county, and whereas Section 101.001, parentheses 1, Florida statutes, provides that the board, upon recommendation and approval of the supervisor, shall alter or create precincts for voting in the county, and whereas the supervisor has recommended a plan for the alteration of the precincts and polling places within the county, and whereas the board finds that the plan proposed by the supervisor is reasonable and in the best interest of the electors of the county, and whereas the board wishes to implement such plan and alter the precincts and polling places within the county, and whereas the board has complied with the requirements imposed by Florida law for the enactment of this resolution. Now therefore, be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Madison County, Florida, that number 1, recitals. The above recitals are hereby incorporated into this resolution as if restated herein and constitute the legislative findings and intent of the board. Number 2, precincts. Pursuant to Section 101.001, parentheses 1, Florida statutes, as of the effective date of this resolution, the county shall have only one precinct, the boundaries of which shall be the same as the boundary lines of the county, as set out in Section 7.40 of the Florida statutes. The precinct set in this resolution shall not be changed in the future except with the consent of the supervisor and the board. Number 3, polling places. Pursuant to Section 101.001, parentheses 1, Florida statutes, the supervisor shall designate several polling places at suitable locations within the precinct. Any voter who is properly registered to vote within the county shall be allowed to cast their ballots at any of the designated polling places. Number 4, notice. The supervisor shall give notice of this resolution to both the Florida Secretary of State and the public as provided by law. Number 5, repeal of conflicting resolutions. All resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Number 6, severability. It is declared to be the intent of the board that if any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this resolution is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by a court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions hereof.